Well, let's get this window up. Way station, 1 mile. Let's see if it's open or not. It's just after sunset in Northern California. We're coming up on Redding pretty soon, just outside of Cottonwood, California, coincidentally. Trucks not given bypass signal must enter open scales. I had an experience earlier today that I know I will see again sometime in my future, and I hope not to, but I know it'll happen. I was only a few truck lengths, maybe 6, 7 trucks behind the truck that this happened to, but a motorcycle came whizzing past me, and I didn't think much of it. You know, it's California, they drive kind of recklessly, they let motorcycles lane split. Hey, got a green light. But all of a sudden traffic came to a grinding halt, to a dead stop, and wasn't sure what was going on up until, you know, CHP passed us and they started moving cars over to the side. And as it turns out, all I can assume is that the motorcyclist had clipped this car hauler semi and lost control in front of the truck, and just based on, you know, the debris, not just vehicle debris, but, you know, what was left of this motorcyclist on the road, he must have gotten run over, not just by the one truck, but the truck behind that too, and lost his life today. The driver of the car hauler is going to live with that for the rest of his life. You know, whether there was anything he could have done about it or not, you know, that will stay with him forever. And it's just kind of a reminder, you know, these trucks, they're like trains. You know, they get a slow start, and nobody likes being behind a slow truck, but they can't stop, you know, on a dime. You cut one off, you stop in front of one, you know, you're running a huge risk. You know, that guy was somebody's son, you know, could have been somebody's father, somebody's husband, and he's gone now. That driver, you know, will have that image burned in his mind for the rest of his life. You know, these are 80,000-pound death machines. If they're not treated with respect, not just by the person behind the wheel of it, but by every other person around it. It was rough, man. It was really tough to see that. You know, they hadn't even gotten the scene, you know, taken care of yet. I was that close to it. It could have been me. It could have been my truck that motorcycle clipped. It could have been me pulled over on the side of the road with blood on my bumper and a smear of blood and body parts behind me. I'm lucky in a way that it wasn't. But it's definitely a reminder. You know, there's a great deal of responsibility here. You know, every time I get behind the wheel of this truck, and every time that person gets behind the wheel of that car, every time that mom gets behind the wheel of that minivan, there's a responsibility. It's not just, you know, getting from point A to point B. That was tough. That was gruesome, bloody, and horrific what I saw today. It was just unbelievable. But no, there's not much that I can do about it. You know, by the time I had gotten as, you know, far enough up in traffic to see what had happened, only a quarter mile in front of me. There were already police on the scene, and the guy was already long gone. He was gone probably the moment he impacted that truck. They could hardly even tell that the truck had any damage. Just a little bend in the corner of his bumper. Just somebody being irresponsible. And it's not like professional drivers are always doing the right thing either. I can't tell you how many other truckers pass me with their phone in their hand, texting, whatever else, and I'm guilty of it too. I've let certain distractions come into my driving. Hell, this might even be one of them. At least this, I can keep both my hands on the wheel. Maybe the talking, to myself in the cab of this truck could be considered a distraction, to some degree. But man, that was just scary. Just scary and very, very sad. Just be careful out there, everybody. Bear in mind that we have a shared responsibility there. Well, it's getting dark. I'm going to try to get to under 400 miles left on my trip today. I've got 3 hours, a little over. I've actually got about 3.5 hours. I've got 3 hours and 14 minutes till my next break. Why did my GPS just restart? See, look what I'm talking about, distractions. Got about 3.5 hours that I'm allowed to drive left in the day, which means I've got more than enough time to cover 36 miles. I might do a little bit more than that even. Just get myself a little closer to my destination. See if I can't find a place to stop. It's already gonna be tough to find a place to stop. It's 20 after 8 p.m. But I'm further away from the big California cities. I'm in these smaller towns now, so that guy found parking in a strip mall. Maybe I'll find something like that. Yeah, no, I'd like to be under 400 miles before I call it a day today. So that way, when I start going through all these mountains and stuff up ahead of me, and work my way through the northern part of California and into Oregon, do it in the daylight when I can see. But yeah, just been an interesting day, for sure. Been a very interesting day. Oh, that's a bad place to break down. At least CHP is there to help, kind of direct some traffic, keep him from getting rear-ended or whatever. No, we're not for that wreck. It would have been a pretty alright day. I had a conversation with my brother that, could have gone better. I ended up hanging up on him, and I felt kind of bad about that, but at the same time I didn't. That's a whole different story. But that happened before the wreck. Or at least before I came up on the. But it happened before the wreck. What was that CHP officer doing? Anyway, so I had that. I had this unpleasant phone call that ended abruptly. And, it was just kind of simmering down from that, and then came up upon that wreck, and just, had me sick to my stomach. I had my blood run cold. I almost started crying, just seeing that carnage. And the rest of the day, those two isolated events were really crummy. The rest of the day has been actually a very good day. The driving's been easy like this pretty much all day once I got out of the cities. Wide open spaces, easy going roads, green light through every scale. But for some reason, those two things are, kind of taking the wheel of the day, and I really shouldn't let that happen. Shouldn't let that be the focus for me for the day. But it's hard not to. It makes me think of a thing I saw once. I'll tell this little story, and then I'll kill the video because we're running out of light anyways. You won't be able to see nothing. But the story of a teacher, a school teacher, and she starts writing a multiplication table up on the whiteboard or chalkboard or whatever, and 1 times 2 equals 2, and so on and so forth. And then she writes one and writes the wrong answer. And the students in the class are kind of snickering because it's basic multiplication. They know, oh my gosh, I can hear all the bugs hitting the windshield. It is nasty. I cleaned this windshield at my fuel stop, and it's just disgusting now. And every time I go over a little creek or river or something like that, it sounds like raindrops, just bugs, bugs, bugs. Anyways, so she writes the wrong answer, and kids in the class start snickering and whispering to each other, oh my god, our teacher messed up. She wrote the wrong answer. But she continues down the multiplication table, writes the right answer for every other one, and turns around and faces the class. She can see that they're all murmuring and snickering and whatever else, and so she, all right, guys, want to tell me what's so funny? What's up? So finally, a student, teacher, you got the answer wrong on that one. She's like, oh, so I did. So you didn't notice that I got every other single one right? You only noticed that I got 1 out of all of these, that I got 1 wrong. That's what stuck out to you? And it's true. That's that's kind of, I guess, human nature in a way. Unfortunately, somebody could be doing everything right, exactly how it should be done, but one negative thing kind of steals the spotlight. And it's the same for my day today. Everything's been good. The driving's been good. I woke up well rested. I didn't even have to wake up to alarms. I woke up before my alarms. Just awake, rested, in a good mood. Got a shower, feeling fresh. Had a little breakfast, and that should be what I'm focused on. Like, everything else about the day has been great, but no, I had 2 little negative things happen, and they're kind of stealing the focus. So I'm going to try to remind myself of that little story, when I find a place to park and try to go to bed tonight. Everything else has been good. It's actually been a really good day. And I wish I could have started the camera earlier, because the sunset tonight was just beautiful with these mountains and these trees. Man, this windshield is dirty. Look, and there's open parking at that TA. I don't want to stop yet, but it's almost 8:30, and there's open parking over at a truck stop in California, of all places. That's another good thing. If I needed to stop right now, I could have found a place to park, no problem. And that never happens. Oh, I better move over. Let this minivan in here. So, I'm going to try to remember those good things. There have been good things happening today. In fact, most of the day, the vast majority, almost 98, 99% of this day has been a good day. And I'm going to try to remind myself of that. It's tough sometimes. I know it's tough. I know you've been there. But I just got to change my perspective a little bit. And sometimes that's exactly what we got to do, is just change our perspective a little bit. So I'm going to work on that as I finish out 30, 50, 100 miles, whatever I end up doing. I'm not in a big hurry. Another good thing to the day. If I want to shut down right now, I can shut down right now. If I want to go another 100 miles, I've got time to go 100 miles, even more than that if I want. So, we'll see what I decide to do. But I'm probably going to put on some music and, ride into the sunset here and try to just, see the good in the day. Try to change my perspective. tomorrow's going to be a good day too. Let's make sure of it.